Meantime, speaking of school violence, back now to one of our top stories today. We are learning more about the Connecticut elementary school shooter, Adam Lanza, and his past and his family, and what his mother reportedly claimed was his battle with a family genetic illness. We're not talking about the Asperger's syndrome, something else. Newly released emails detail what she described as living on top of a time bomb. This is growing evidence now suggests that mental illness played a role in one of the most horrific crimes in American history. Dr. Jeffrey Gardier is a clinical psychologist. He is my guest now. Doc, it was the New York Daily News that got a hold of these emails and talked about how Nancy Lanza, in emails to her friend, I gather, talked about how doctors had no explanation for an autoimmune disorder that killed her grandfather in just 6 weeks, about how doctors found lesions on her brain in 1999, and she described that illness like living on top of a time bomb, and talked about how she's carrying the gene for this type of self-destruct and believed that Adam was too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we just don't know what it is.
Yeah, what is that?
What could it have been? So we're talking about lesions on the brain. That's something that she referred to. It could have been Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease. It could be a Pick's disease or Huntington's. These are all of the diseases that where you see damage to frontal lobe, to other parts of the brain, and therefore you get dementia, and then from dementia you get some sort of a psychosis. And some of these, including the Creutzfeldt-Jakob, you can die within 2 years. Others have a lifespan of 15 to 20 years, so we're not quite sure of what she's talking about.
I mean, the thought, I don't understand any of those diseases, but I do understand this woman knew that she had some genetic problem.
That's right.
And she believed her son had it as well, separate and apart from the Asperger's syndrome, which is on the autism spectrum. And despite knowing all of that, and despite knowing, according to these reports, that in her son's room, she found, quote, ghastly and sinister pictures of dead bodies, including a woman clutching some sort of rosary beads and holding a child as she was getting all shot up in the back with blood flying everywhere. She did not confront her son. That was 2 weeks before he killed 26 innocent people.
Not so surprising.
Why not?
I work with parents all the time, and what they're afraid of is their worst nightmare, knowing that their child may be a killer, afraid that they can't get the treatment for the child that they need to get. And we know that's an epidemic problem with children who have early onset of schizophrenia, or around 18, 19 years old, where they do have the actual onset of a schizophrenia. They don't want to face that. It's so horrible for them to do, knowing that it's so difficult for them to get the care, and that these kids don't want to deal with the stigma of that particular illness. So she was afraid to do that, to face that fear. 40
seconds to a hard break, so I just want to ask you quickly, because we're short on news, breaking news, short on time. Another report says he was the target of relentless bullying when he was at the elementary school himself, and that he was very disappointed he couldn't be in the military, be a Green Beret like his uncle.
That's right. And we see that in the profile of some of the other school shooters, the paramilitary kind of goals that they have in life, and certainly wanting to get revenge at people that they feel have marginalized them. This young man was marginalized on his own, but also being bullied too.
A clearer picture is beginning to emerge. Doctor, thank you.